what have you seen from the team in practice this past week?
Well, we responded well. Obviously, didn't play very well last Wednesday, and USC had a lot to do with that. Thought they took it right at us, and we didn't defend. And since then, took Thursday off. We've had really good practices, and I think we've had growth defensively. But as I've told the team, you only see that growth if it happens in gameplay. And now we've got to go on the road, and we've got to be able to do that. And if we're going to give ourselves a chance to win on this road trip, we've got to defend. Scoring this year has not been an issue. Efficiency's been very good. We're valuing the ball. We're taking good shots. We're shooting a pretty good percentage. Foul line's been pretty good. Our issues have been defensively, and we've got to gain some momentum by getting some defensive stops. And I think if that happens, you'll see our offense even get better.
You mentioned defense after the game as well. Is that an effort thing, or have you tried to make changes?
This has been a great group of guys, and they've given us really good effort. Other than Pullman, I think that was something that was not common to this team. But defensively, if you look at our numbers over 18 games, we've just kind of got into this rut of, we're just not holding people down, and we can't keep giving up. I think we're giving up 86 in league play. You just can't do that. Those are astronomically high numbers. So effort may come into it a little bit. I think more than effort, it's a consistent focus on the principles and fundamentals of defense, and that's what we've really tried to help them understand even more as coaching, and trying to coach them to get them to understand whether it's hands up, whether it's being in the right position, and then having that demeanor of defensive stops. That's what we've got to have, and the bench has got to bring that. We've got 5 guys in double figures in the starting lineup. What I need from the bench, even more than scoring, I need the bench to bring toughness and bring energy, and that's what we've really been working at.
Do you want to tinker with the balance between how much man you play versus how much zone, or are you comfortable with where that is?
Well, obviously I'm a man guy, and so I'm much more comfortable in man. But we've always, since being here, we've mixed in zone and had a lot of success doing that. And I think over the last couple of weeks, we've had to get into even doing more things that I'm not happy with, and that's to try to, whether it's hide deficiencies. Now that we've had practice, we've really put the accountability on guys that, hey, you got to guard. We've got to do it. And it's not a one-on-one thing. It's I'm guarding you, and I got to have confidence that the guy to my right and my guy to my left is helping me. And we just haven't had that kind of consistency with 5-on-5 defense, whether it's been man or zone, of putting together enough stops. The USC game, we're down big in the first half. We get it all the way back to 8. We just have to get some stops, and we weren't able to get stops. And so that, more than anything, is the mindset. It's a scoring mentality team the way it is. But as I've told them, I think they've learned enough lessons. We're not going to – it's not the Nuggets of the 80s. We're not going to win 112 to 108. It's just – that's not what's going to happen. We've got to be able to – we've got to improve defensively if we're going to be able to fight, in this league. This league's too good this year. There's too many good offensive teams and players. The teams that prove they can guard are going to be the teams that have a chance in the end.
The starting 5 in the backcourt specifically logs a lot of minutes. Do you think that at all affects defensive?
Well, it could. It could, and we've been looking at that. But if you look at some of the other players in the league that are logging a lot of minutes, it doesn't seem to affect them. So again, I think that's more of a toughness thing. Is that you've got to, if you're demanding, if that's your role to play major minutes, then you've got to be able to handle that at both ends of the court. But you do bring up a good point. We've got to have that. From a bench standpoint, we need to have production defensively as much as we do offensively, and I think GG helps. GG's full now, so there's no limitations on GG moving into this road trip, and I think that does help. It gives us a little bit more experience. He's got a really good basketball IQ, and he's done a great job in his rehab of not getting behind offensively and defensively what we're doing. So I'm hoping that helps a little bit, ignite the bench a little bit, because we need that. We need energy coming off that bench of having a good defensive stop mentality. And I do think it'll open up our offense more as well.
When you say no limitations, minutes-wise?
Minute-wise. No. Minute-wise, there's no limits now. I had limits in the USC game. The doctors have liked everything that they saw there. He obviously didn't play a lot in that game, but through practices and everything that we've had, there's no limits now to him.
What does he do specifically on defense that can?
Well, he's a great position player. He's 6'11", good rebounding big, moves very well, mobile, and he's got, as I mentioned, a basketball IQ. He understands positioning. So I'm hoping that helps because we're struggling with the understanding of positioning and being in the right position and doing it consistently enough. We'll get a stop or two, and then we'll have 3 times where they score. I think Washington State scored 9 straight times at one time during the game. Those things just can't happen. You've got to have a demeanor of a team that if somebody scores 2 times in a row on you, stop it. Regardless of what's happening at the other end, we can't allow them to score again, and we've just been too easy to play against at that end.
Is it especially good timing getting Gigi back when Oregon State's losing Reed for a few games?
Well, and Reed's a bench guy. Reed, he did hurt us last year, but he's a guy that gives them energy off their bench that now they've got to get that from Ndi or somebody else that'll come in. It's next man up, and they're deep enough, and it's not a starter that was playing major minutes anyway. They'll make those adjustments, and they're at home, but we got to do the things. I'm not so much worried about who's playing at Oregon State or what they're doing. It's really about what we're doing, and can we string together enough defensive stops to put ourselves in a position where we win games. And we haven't done that, and that's what we've got to get better at.
What you guys were able to do on the road at Gonzaga, why haven't you been able to replicate that maybe away from Paul?
It's a great question. And we've defended a little bit better at home up until Wednesday night. We've been a little bit better at home than we have on the road. But if you can go up to a place like Gonzaga, who I think one of the tougher environments on the West Coast, and defend the way we defended in that game, defend Kentucky the way we defend Kentucky, it's about getting that consistency. And we're hammering them in film, we're hammering them in practice of understanding that and getting a feel for that. And I think now they've had enough setbacks that hopefully it's sunk into them that, hey, we're not going to be a team that can play this game 114, 112 to 110. We've got to be able to be a team that holds teams at least right now in the 70s. Our goal is 65. We're a long way from our goal. So we've just got to get it to where we're holding teams in the 70s and make some growth that way.
Given how the Pac-12 is, we might be asking this every week, but given that it's coming off a loss and it's on the road, do you feel like this is a particularly important road trip?
Yeah, I would have said that even if we win last Wednesday, because I think every game is going to be a fight in this league. You're seeing that home, road, teams that were favored, teams that weren't favored. You're just seeing incredible depth from the first all the way down to 12. The depth in this league is incredible. So if you don't play well at home or if you don't play well on the road, you're going to get beat. I look at some of these other, power conference leagues, and the bottom is so bad. You got 5-6 teams that are really bad. Well, if the scheduling hits you, you're going to get 10, 12 pretty easy games. You don't have that in this league. Top to bottom, this league, I think along with the Big 12, this league is really, really good and hard to compare because every night it's a grind. And you're seeing that with everybody. There's going to be a lot of 1-2 possession games being won or lost. And so how you defend, how you take care of the ball, what your rebound margin is, how you do it at the free throw line, all those little things are going to be pretty important to wins. Good?